Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back into another video. Possibly my last Paladins video. Not specifically Paladins, but possibly my last hi-rez video, even though I already did a video for those who have followed the channel, who knows that, I've essentially given up on Paladins, moved on, focused on other stuff. I had to get a job full-time, not allowing me to do a lot of videos and streams, so you can follow up with the channel and see exactly. I've never given up on the idea of being a YouTuber or a streamer, but that's not really the point here. The point is, for those who are living under a rock, Paladins, in this case Evil Mojo, Rake no, Rake is Rom Royale, sorry, but let's just say this. Rom Royale is set to be gone in a couple of days. This was already decided and informed like a couple of months ago. But now, it is fully confirmed that Paladins, Smite 1, and Rogue Company have all lost their developing teams. This is just obviously for those who don't know. The developers have been given 8 weeks notice, which means that in 2 months or so, they either are going to pack their shit and leave, or they're already going to be in their new jobs. Which, I'm going to be honest, this part is going to be first to the developers. I've met a lot of awesome people at Evil Mojo, in the Smite team. Not so many on the Rogue Company team, but I can still imagine they're awesome people. I've met people like Radar, Strixus, Cryptech, Cam, and many others. Kato, who went to Smite 2, I believe Kato is still there, but I'm not entirely sure. Steve, which is her boyfriend, who was also in the Paladins team, who, if I'm not mistaken, did get affected. And obviously a lot of other developers that I've met across the time, but those people are no longer there. We're talking about like Potzer, Nico, Romanova, all these people. I got to meet them, I got to interact with them, Rachel, you name it, right? But those people are no longer there, so they've moved on. But for at least the ones that I know, and even the ones I don't know, the ones that got affected by this, I really hope you guys get to find something fast, and that it's something you would love. And I hope everything gets resolved for you. I can only imagine what it's... I can actually imagine. I actually know what it is like to have your... the rug being swept under your feet, just pulled. And me, it was a bit faster because when I was on the stream team, first of all, the stream team was technically speaking a job. It wasn't 100% guaranteed to stay there forever. Every year we were always like praying, can we stay? But that was very like fast, right? We were just told, yeah, just by the end of the month, you guys are gone. That's it. And at least these developers have two months notice, which is hopefully, I hope for every single one of them, enough time for them to find something. And regardless if I've ever had beef with these people or not, I do not wish them any harm whatsoever. I hope that everything goes well. Now, on to the villain of the story. I've seen a lot of people talk about how Stu is to be blamed for this. And don't get me wrong, yes, Stu is to be blamed, partially, if not mostly. But there's a lot of things here that people are not mentioning, that they're not looking into. I think that this is a this is just like a snowball effect, right? This is a lot of bad decisions from a lot of different people who are not even there anymore, right? And I'm talking in every single department, because like Paladins had their own ups and downs. Rom Royale, for example, was fucked by hi-rez by the way, as a person, I don't hate Harris, but as a business person, he fucking sucks at it. Like, he's bad. Real bad. He doesn't know how to fucking develop games. I've been into his fucking playtests after he left hi-rez and went to his new guild, or, you know, his new, oh, I'm gonna start my own thing with alcohol and bitches phase, whatever the fuck he did there. Because he was doing so much shit, either had to be pushed away from hi-rez, or he just didn't like the people were always complaining with him or some shit, and so he went away and did his own little thing again, but still maintained as one of the CEOs or the owner of hi-rez. So yeah, then he started developing games there that are absolute ass, man. Like, some of them have some cool features, but then he just ruins everything he touches. He literally fucking killed Realm Royale before the game was even born. That game went to 100,000 people playing it, and we had Ninja, Dr. Lupo, sorry, Tim Tatman, Summit playing the fucking game. There's this pro player from Overwatch that went to play it as well. We had Keemstar in the game. Like, fuck, man. Like, we had a lot of shit in Realm Royale. It was a gold mine, and they let it fucking rot because of hi-rez going there, taking a dump on it, and then just be like, yeah, nah, I'm done with it, and then just going away. If you don't know about that, I can even make a video about the entire story of Realm Royale and how it all went to shit. That one's a funny one. But yeah, like, Realm Royale suffered for that. Rogue Company, let me just say this right now. As you can notice now, this video has no script whatsoever, and I'm just going with the flow, and it might end up being a big video. So, you know, just bear with me here for a second. Rogue Company, for me, it never really stood out for a very simple reason. I hate third-person shooters, and I know that people might like them, but people always come back to complain about one specific thing, which is the biggest fucking problem when it comes to third-person shooters, which is the angle, the camera angle. Sorry, I don't know what the fuck was the word that I was trying to say there, but the angle, the camera angle. You know, having people just like fucking hugging the fucking wall and then being able to see off the corner without even showing an inch of their body, for me, is absolutely fucking ridiculous. I live in a world where if I want to see something, I gotta poke my fucking head out, right? I could take a risk, you know, I could get hit with a stone, get shot, whatever the fuck, but that's reality, right? And people more and more are walking towards realism. Like, the only reason why Fortnite is still a thing and working is, you know, because it had a very big fan base. They did a lot of big name collabs and shit. And, you know, it's a battle royale. Then for the building, it would be very complicated. But even then, they're still trying to do fucking first-person shooters in the game now. So it all comes back to the same thing. I personally don't like third persons unless we're talking about, like, story games, like God of War and shit. But you're talking about a shooter, a tactical shooter? Yeah, no. Rogue Company, for me, was just their failed attempt at Valorant, but by hi-rez. I feel like hi-rez is a bit like the Wish, you know, for all the other games. Smite, League of Legends from Wish, right? Paladins, unfortunately, Overwatch from Wish. Even though I know they were both there at the start, but still, we're talking about the quality and the you know, the entire process of developing the game. DKO also, wasn't it at Multiverses from Wish or some shit, or Smash Bros, or I don't even fucking know. Rogue Company Valorant, Realm Royale Fortnite from Wish. I mean, you guys name it. Like, all of these games, none of them are exceptionally, like, original. Like, they didn't came out with a bang. Although I'm going to be honest, I think the most original shit they've ever done was really Paladins. Because I look at Smite. Smite is like fucking League of Legends all over again, but in third person, instead of, like, you know, 2D camera with little clicks and shit. They just like, they grab something, they change just one aspect of it, and boom, there, we have our idea. Paladins, for me, however, you have the talents, you have the cards, they have a very consistent thing when it comes to their characters, right? You have the primary fire, secondary fire, 2 abilities, and 1 ultimate, and you can have passives, that's it. But like, you have then 3 talents, you always have 16 cards specifically, and you do a loadout. You can do many different loadouts, but you can do, and then every game you can select whatever you want. You pre-do these loadouts, and you can always use set amount of points for each loadout. That's it. Like, it's consistent, right? But it's consistent to the point that you can change every single game. You can have like 50 different games and play them all completely different, but that's on you. That's your decision. You have that freedom. For example, on Smite, however, that freedom is not as much, but you can still do it. You know, you can still build different items and shit. But it's still like, you're not talking about, like, for example, going from damage pip to healing pip, right? We're not talking that degree. It's not going that hard. You see what I'm saying, right? Like, then you have the mounts. I love the entire aspect, for example, of the emotes and how they work, the voice lines, the actual VGS, which they came out from Smite. So that's pretty awesome. I think that definitely came out pretty awesome. I think hi-rez's, VGS system, the entire, commands, just like click a little shortcut and do some voice lines specifically, and have them actually having different voice lines with each skin. So we have different voice actors or just different voice styles every time you put a new skin, is absolutely fucking amazing. Although they sometimes fail, but regardless, that's other things. I think that's the best fucking communicating system in the entire world. And if you then stack that with ping systems on top, then shit, dude, like, you don't even need to use a goddamn microphone. You got everything set up for you right there, which is amazing. So they come up with crazy good ideas, but then it's like they don't listen, right? I saw a lot of comments through Twitter. For example, I saw hi-rez Chris, for those who don't know, the guy who saved Paladins, supposedly. Which, by the way, I still think part of the reason why Paladins died was the game ever going onto the Switch. No hate on the Switch players, but the game got really fucking nerfed because of it. Like, really hard. And they're not genuine. I'm sorry. The developing team of Paladins was not genuine for a very long time. They never had the balls to come out and say, yeah, we're taking shit out of the maps because we needed to be a bit lighter for the Switch. Like, they never actually did that. It was data miners and just like content creators, artists who would just notice these things and talk about them. And just like it's the same thing for Smite. It's the same thing for Rogue Company. There's a lot of lack of communication. And even when we complained about it, so much so we had to have the Olympians and AOCs and shit. Even when we had that, right, there was still a lot of things. I personally, as a person who was on the AC, I can tell you for sure, I saw a lot of shit I did not agree with. Oh, you can't tell this to nobody. I'm like, why the fuck not? The players should know. This is the transparency that people are asking for. You're taking AOC and making your little fucking passion project. Like, right now, we're just like testers for you or some shit. Like, you're not using us for what we were supposed to. Anytime I would give feedback, and this is why I'm talking about this, every time I gave feedback, I was laughed on. Like, there's a guy who was already out of the team. His name is hi-rez Fish, or it was. He came from Smite over to Paladins, acting like he knew whatever the fuck he thought he knew. And I don't mean this personally, but just like, I'm talking about his, like, working ethic. I specifically brought up a point that until this fucking day, I still think it's part of the reason why these games have died. And nobody can convince me otherwise. Advertising. Hear me out. How did I met Paladins? Right? It wasn't because somebody just told me, oh man, you should try Paladins. No, absolutely not. I was just browsing through a website of memes and posts and wholesome shit and so on, and called 9gag. So, cheers for all my 9gag fans, if there's any out there. I've never used that website ever again. A very long time ago. It's filled with porn and shit now. People will be like, wait, what? What's that website? What? No, but that website also had ads, you know, to maintain itself. And like every 3 posts or something, you're just scrolling, there's an ad. You know, similar to Instagram. And I see this fucking ad with Androxus. I still remember the fucking words, now free on PlayStation. And I'm like, damn. I gotta try this shit. Like, it looks awesome, dude. I like this fucking, the style of it. Like, I look at Androxus, I'm like, god damn. This is about the time also I started doing YouTube. If for those who don't know, I didn't start with Paladins straight away. I started with like meme videos of Agario and Slitherio and shit. And I was still looking for my game, right? And I saw that ad and I'm like, you know, I'm on PlayStation using an Elgato, capturing gameplay. What game can I put there? You know, is it Call of Duty? What is it? And I come across Paladins because of this ad. And it was a fucking journey. I mean, those beautiful things up there were thanks to this game, to the developers, to the players, the community, everything. Right? This entire, my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, everything was all due to that. And just like it was for me, it was for a lot of other people. A lot of people had great times with Paladins, Ram Royale, DKO, Rogue Company, Smite 1, and even Smite 2. A lot of people made friendships. They met people. I know of people who actually met their boyfriends or girlfriends through the fucking game. And maybe they're not together anymore, but it's that thing. It's that saying, don't be sad it's gone. Just be happy that it happened. And I guess this is basically the point of this video. I know that a lot of you are going to be looking for, you know, a villain, who to point fingers. But at that point, folks, fuck that. It doesn't matter who you point fingers at. I know you're going to be looking at, for example, Stu. Oh, he deleted his Twitter right after, you know, right before giving the news. People, it's business. For these people, it's business. It's money. That's it. They look at these developers, the people who are now going to be suffering for the next 8 weeks, and they look at them like numbers. You know, they might meet one or two and make some friendships. Yeah, sure. They're still humans, obviously, but their main focus is, that's it. It's business. And like I said, it's like a lot of bad things. Like I said, I met the game through advertising, and that advertising stopped existing. I don't know if this was a decision by Stu or if it was by the business department, but I can tell you, whatever business departments was running all these games, it sucked. These people know nothing, man. They saw, like, I came across this shit all the time. Oh, we had skins of fucking Furia and like, I don't know, Scylla on Smite, or fucking Rogue on Rogue Company or whatever the shit, like her name was, Ronin or whatever, where she's showing her thighs and shit. Yeah, let's invest in that, you know. We already sold like 1 billion of these fucking skins, but we gotta keep doing it, keep bring that cash. This is the mentality that does not make games last. I'm sorry. You're just looking for money. You're just looking for numbers. That's it. You fucking suck. Okay? Because a lot of people were begging for specific things. A lot of people were telling you they didn't like what you were doing, and you kept going at it. It doesn't matter. Same fucking themes. Trying to... Their way of advertising was not advertising the fucking game. It was, and guess what, doing collabs with, you know, titles that didn't give a shit about these games. Ruby, yes, because, you know, the fans who watch Ruby are now finally going to start playing fucking Smite because of it. There might be one or two that stuck around, but that's about it. Okay? Those people watch Ruby. They are not going to be like, oh, they exist in Smite? I guess I got to start playing Smite now. I might not even fucking like it, but I got to go play it. Forget it. Okay, that's not how things work. If people in Smite were like, oh yeah, no, I like Ruby, I'm definitely gonna buy that. Yeah, that's definitely fantastic. But that's not how you get players to go to the game. There was not enough advertising. The only fucking advertisements I ever saw was about Smite, and very poorly. And when I did see something, it was now for Smite 2. I didn't see advertising for DKO. I barely saw any advertising for Ramrian. The only reason I saw that was because of some trailers that popped out, and especially when Thor started working on the game. Paladins had a bit of advertising here and there, and their advertising was essentially grabbing the trailers for new champions and posting them on like the channel of PlayStation and Steam and Xbox. When I confronted the hi-rez fish guy that I was talking about, that, there's not enough advertising, he just laughed and said, we're doing advertising. I'm like, are you? Because, I don't see that advertising anywhere. I've been asking a lot of people. No one's seen advertising in years. And he goes to me, well, we're doing advertising with, whatever budget we have. And I'm like, still, I don't see any fucking advertising. So either you don't have a budget or you're putting it in the wrong place. And he's like, yeah, no, we're doing it to the people we want specifically. It's obvious if you already play Paladins, you're not going to get an ad. And I'm like, that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. I played Overwatch a lot of times, and even while I was playing it, I kept getting fucking advertisements for Overwatch. Don't try to tell me how fucking advertising works. Advertising goes based on your preferences, things you search, things you talk about. Your microphones, everything from this to your fucking computer, everything is capturing everything you're doing, connecting it to all different accounts you have plugged in and whatever, and every single fucking platform you're in. All of this that I'm doing right now, I'm recording a video. Not only is this microphone capturing that and just sending it over because Microsoft sells your fucking data, right? Because of my Windows. And not only that, this video goes on to YouTube. Guess what? When you're watching it, all of the keywords I'm saying, they're possibly going to be the reason why you're going to be hearing for advertisements for Smite or Overwatch or whatever the fuck in the future. Because that's how advertising works in today. Right? They need to know who they're going to give. They don't want to put the advertising to people who don't know what the fuck this is, right? That might happen to try to get something, but it has to be related, right? So for example, if I play Overwatch, then yeah, I definitely want to have an ad for something related, which in this case, Paladins. But guess what? I was for a very long time in Overwatch without even playing Paladins there, because it was a phase that I wasn't very happy with Paladins, and I never got a fucking ad about Paladins. I confronted a lot of people who played Overwatch. None of them ever said that they ever even knew what the fuck Paladins was. Never seen the fucking ad. Ever since I saw that ad for the PlayStation 4, I've never seen a single other ad for Paladins. And the same thing I can tell you about DKO, Rogue Company, etc. There might have been some, but I can tell you, it was not enough. Not enough at all. If your idea was just to put things like skins of angels showing thighs or demons, and just hoping for people to like that idea and then showing up, and the advertising is what? From people talking mouth to mouth? Forget about it. Just fucking forget about it. These games don't have something that fucking special to be just, from mouth to mouth. That's not gonna happen. We're not talking about, Fortnite. Fortnite, it became great because of the popularity it got from streamers and shit at the start. And the more it kept showing, the player base started to grow. I can tell you right now, if we had streamers who actually stayed in Paladins because they liked it, not because they were told to play the fucking game for one single day, spending almost your entire fucking budget on that one single day, you might have gotten a couple of people to maybe be interested in the game. That's true, but this is constant advertising. Ninja staying active in Fortnite is constantly bringing people into the game. So yeah, the developers are definitely going to be fucking happy if they make Tyler happy. I'm not doubting that at all. That's smart advertising. But not the way that Paladins, Smite, and so on was doing. The only advertising I've seen from hi-rez in the recent years was the entire announcement for Smite 2. So, yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of... This is like a big fucking snowball. Maybe the investors just started seeing how much failure this was. I also seen this as a common trend right now in the gaming community. Every fucking studios are just firing everybody and giving up on titles, right? What was it? The Dead game that I used to play. I completely forgot its name. There was the game that they adapted a movie and the series, something about the dead. They had a very famous actor, and he even cut off his own hand because the hand was possessed, and then he had like a chainsaw and everything. And no, I'm not talking about the Chainsaw Massacre, but that's another one that shit's going down real fast as well. If they already haven't ended it. Multiverses went to shit as well. Gigantic came back out. I haven't even heard about that game either way. A lot of shit, like a lot of people have been fired from Ubisoft, from Bungie. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on in the gaming community. It's such a big community. There's so many people spending money in games, microtransactions, and so on. And somehow, every fucking studio and company is just firing everybody. Like, I don't know if you're just bad at your fucking jobs or what. The rich people who gave you money at the start no longer want to invest in that and found a brand new thing? What, is everybody investing in Trump instead? I don't fucking know what's going on, man. I don't fucking know. But I did knew for sure that this was going to affect hi-rez. It was a matter of time. When I did that video saying that, you know, that the end of the stream team was essentially the beginning of the end, some people called me crazy. They called me a madman. Little reference for Thanos there. But essentially, you know, I knew that was just the first, like, skipping stone there. Like, that's 100% sure Paladins is done for. You could see the next few updates after that. Like, there was nothing new. What, they made a original 2 foreskins, something like that. I know I just said foreskin, fuck you. Like, I don't, that's not the point. But what I'm trying to say is that they had a lot less personnel. We had a fucking level designer for 1 year. For 1 year, he did 1 map and then a couple of other things. He did an amazing job, but like 1 year, that's it. Like, one of the main things necessary for a game like this. And we had one for 1 year because the other one disappeared for a very long time. Like, we didn't even have a level designer for years to come. And I'm going to be honest, even Overwatch was all dead, and they did the Overwatch 2, and it's slowly declining. It's going the same way. Unfortunately, games that are constantly receiving updates to maintain themselves alive, eventually they're going to perish. It's that simple. If it's a story game, offline game, whatever, you play it a couple times and that's it, you move on as well. They may become classics, but that's it. In the end, games like these are just built for one thing and one thing only: money. Because that's what they bring, because of the microtransactions, because of the battle passes, DLCs, and so on. That's all they care for, the big ones up top, at least. The developers might have a big passion for them. They might love the game, they might put their heart and soul into it, but that's it. Ultimately, it's just all comes down to the same thing. And all I can say is, don't focus too much on who's to blame for. I can tell you it's not just Stu. It's a bunch of different people. Especially investors who might have pulled the plug. Who knows? All I can say is, there would be one thing I'd be very happy is if Smite 2 failed. Right? So they could learn a lesson. But I can guarantee you they're not going to learn any lesson. The ones up top, like Stu and so on, before they start having, you know, actual negative score or negative funds, they'll just pull the fucking plug and fire everyone as well. That's it. Like, they already fired a couple of people from Smite 2, so they would just pull the plug for the rest. I guarantee you that. But the only ones who would be suffering would be the developers who still remain there. You know, who are working in their passion project, that thing that they love so much, and have their, you know, their livelihood from that, and then just being fired all over again, just like the rest of us. I say the rest of us because, you know, I'm still part of the stream team that also got fired, but I'm not one of the most affected. I would say definitely the developers. It's sad. It's really sad. I knew for a fact Paladins was not going to live forever. Nothing does. And at least I thought that maybe they would still, you know, they would see how much of a unpolished gem it was and maybe go for something like Paladins 2. According to the information I got, Paladins 2 did indeed start happening. And then they scrapped it. So that's not going to happen. Rogue Company was already born with a big problem. DKO had no advertising. Realm Royale was fucked in the ass by hi-rez. Smite 2 is suffering from very poor management and rushed projects, essentially. And Smite 1 is all fucked up now. So yeah, like I said before, good luck to all the developers who have unfortunately lost their jobs. Good luck to the ones who are going to stay. I hope that everything works out for you guys. And for the rest, for the players, streamers, artists, I loved meeting all of you, including the ones I don't like. You know, sometimes you do need a couple of villains and enemies in your life to keep it interesting, so thank you for that. And I wish you all the best. Hope everybody finds their new home, their new place, their new games or new hobbies or jobs or whatever they're going to be looking for. And again, like I said in the middle of the video, don't be sad that it's gone. Just be happy that it happened.